We should start. We're good now. Well, welcome everybody. Today is January 7th, 2026. So welcome to the new year. This is the Utah Safety Council's first Start with Safety for 2026. We hope everybody had a great 2025 and a great New Year's Day celebration. We are happy and excited for the year ahead of us. We have a lot of great things planned, and as we continue our move here in Sandy, we have a ribbon cutting and open house ceremony, which will almost mark 1 year here, but more details for that to come. We think we're going to do it in April. We just need to confirm with both the dignitaries and all the fun things we'll have planned for our grand opening open house. So stay tuned for that. In January, we will be closed on Monday, the 19th, to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Along with our open house, I forgot to mention this, we are working hard on a new website. So our plan is to launch that and coincide with the ribbon cutting here. So we'll have a virtual ribbon cutting and then a hard ribbon cutting. And so again, just kind of goes in line full of great things that hopefully align this year. So we also plan our annual meeting. So stay tuned for that. That'll be down in the South Valley somewhere. We're working out a couple of locations, and so bring it up because soon we will put out the nomination forms for the awards, and that's always our favorite day of the year. So be on the lookout on the new website for the nomination forms for awards. We also have a good YouTube channel, and we just uploaded our annual meeting from last October 2025 up at Weber State. So it's about 90 minutes long. So if you're looking for to kill some time at work, I would tune in and check it out. It's got all the everybody's awards on there and our board presentation. So check it out on YouTube. We're also putting a lot of work for our Facebook and Instagram pages. So again, if you're looking to do some work at work, go check those out. So, okay, that's all I got. So again, welcome to 2026. And we'll bring up Bobby on to get this year going. So, thank you.
Thank you, John. Again, my name is Fabiana, and for our highlights of the month of December, we had Wish Award on December the 12th. We were so happy to see everybody there, and so grateful that everybody were able to come and participate in that event. We just would like to congratulate Ciara once again for being the recipient of Wish Award 2025. And we hope to see you in our next events throughout the year. Our next one is in March, so please stay tuned on our social media. We're going to be posting some information. Other than that, on December, we have our Christmas party before our long break that we had. So we have our sweater day that day, so we look all funny, but we have fun that day. For our membership news, our membership is designed to support our members all year long. One of the benefits that our members really enjoy is our videos on Streamery, because they have access 24/7. They our safety managers usually use them for their classes when they're trained, or part of their presentation, or even to learn more about safety. Other of the things that our members really enjoy is our free classes that you have with your membership. It's for OSHA 10 and First Aid. So it's free depending your category in your membership. You can have 1 or 2 seats free. So please take advantage of that. If you already have used these benefits, please give us a call. You have my email over there, my phone number, my extension is 316. And we can check if you use your benefits. If not, we can give you 30% off in those trainings and even other trainings as well. One of the other things that we offer in your membership is our consultation. We have professionals here with us that can go to your company and do this safety consultation for your company. So please take advantage of these benefits. Give me a call if you have more questions about what your membership covers, or if you are interested in being a member with us. Again, my name is Fabiana and my extension is 316. And for next, we're going to hear from Karen. She has some news for our scholarships that we offer.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year's. My name is Karen Kisiona, Occupational Program Manager. Did you guys know that we have money to spend? And what I mean by that is the Utah Safety Council offers a workplace safety scholarship. I repeat, a workplace safety scholarship. That can cover up to 50% of the cost of your safety training, and funding is currently available. This is made possible by the support and from our friends at Utah Labor Commission. So scholarships may be applied towards things like OSHA training, MSHA training, and other occupational safety courses. It is open to Utah-based companies with 250 employees and less or fewer. If you're a veteran, you may be qualified as well. People like refinery workers, safety professionals, individual safety professionals, contractors are also qualified, and eligibility varies. So if this sounds like something that you could benefit from, you and your team, feel free to reach out to me. The name is Karen Kitiona. The number is 801-746-7233, extension 304. I look forward to working with you all. Please ask me for that money and I can help you with your training needs. Thank you and have a good day. Have a good year.
Hey everybody, I'm Brandon. Wanted to talk really briefly about one of the services that Utah Safety Council provides. It's a free car seat check and installation. The reason I bring this up, over 50% of car seats are used incorrectly, either installed wrong or used wrong. And that's a big risk to our little people on the roadways. So free of charge, we offer the service. You can bring your car seat, your child to our office, schedule an appointment, come to our office. We'll help you get your car seat installed correctly, make sure you understand how to use it, talk to you, train you on a few things, help keep your little ones safe. So if you could benefit from that, somebody could benefit from that, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to help. Next up, it's my pleasure. I get to introduce our speaker for the day. His name is Will Netherland. Will Netherland supports Utah companies by helping them build strong compliance safety footwear programs. He provides on-site trainings, develops fit and compliance processes, and guides teams through voucher and policy setup. With experience managing safety responsibilities in both small and large environments, Will focuses on practical, involving solutions that make a measurable impact for the accounts he serves. Will's joined us. He's with OSIGN, and he's joined us today to tell us a little bit about the hidden risks our teams are not talking about. If you have questions, put them in the chat, and let's welcome Will.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I always appreciate being able to blabber on and be able to talk about things I actually like. And I hope that's able to come across as not being another safety video, as we've all been through those, but it's also something that as the new year starts, I'm sure that a lot of management teams have gone through. They're starting to talk about little things they're seeing, and hopefully this is just a slight either refresh or reminder on not getting stuck in the same rut. It's very easy for us to be comfortable with what's happening and Well, I got too many stories about that, so we might get into that. As we're starting out the new year, there's a few kind of thoughts I've gone with preparing this specific presentation because hidden risks are all around us, and it's quite easy where if we're not aware of it, we would just kind of go along and everything's fine. And to kind of talk a little bit more about myself and just give you a little more background, I've been in safety for only a few years, but it's something that I kind of grew up seeing around. I would go to factory tours with my father. I would do a bunch of stuff with him where it then became kind of second nature, where if I saw someone not wearing a hard hat when I would go to a construction site, I'd be like, I think I'm not wearing this hard hat. I'm like, Dad, go. And became that little naggy little brat that no one liked because I would point things out. And I think that's part of a thought that I kind of call the illusion of safety, where when things are going right, when we don't have any recordables, when we're not having major incidents, we have a good funnel of, I call them transactions, into our logbooks and everything. We're like, all right, things are working, things are progressing, things are going forward. But just because these policies exist, because things are in place already, or we're starting from scratch, being able to use amazing people like the Utah Safety Council, at these different levels within the organization, it's quite simple to just kind of back off and be okay with it. And that's where, well, you see the slide and then we start going down it. When these safety problems exist long-term, they usually present injuries and we start seeing them start creeping up. Going through job safety analysis, just on my side, working with different organizations like Utah Safety Council, with other places. Yeah, it's been a fun end of the year, a lot of safety walkthroughs. And I started noticing the, well, Heinrich's funnel, which we'll go into later, but you start seeing the little things that creep up, which then point to bigger ones. And one of those that I talked with Brandon, and we both obviously love, is near misses. If I can count my near misses over and over and start seeing the patterns, I know I can then prevent a lot more bigger injuries, I mean, recordables, all these things down the line by hitting those near misses early and often. And so because we go through these interventions of a safety council meeting every single week, or for bigger companies, almost every day for some that I've gone through. Whenever I come in from the outside, all I do is go straight to them and just ask, hey, all right, where's your SDS? Where's these couple little things, like how do you guys record this? What was your guys' last meeting notes? That last one's always a funny one because I either get looked at like, what's this guy talking about? Or I get looked at as like, I wonder where those are. And then they're able to recall them. Little things on building up a program is just that. It's building onto it. It's not taking a cookie cutter, plopping it in, and then expecting it to work for the rest of your time for your business. It's being able to slowly change it, adapt it, make it better each day and every week, every year, year after year, constantly. And that is obviously the hard part, but with people around you, like Utah Safety Council, with outside people like myself, being able to offer differences of opinion, as well as just kind of be there to be that little kid of, hey, is that guy wearing a safety hat? So what can we do about that? I never want to argue or kind of accuse companies whenever I go to them, because one, I'm not within that company. It's not my place to be able to do that. But there is always a gap within certain aspects, whether it's the fundamental policies and things like that, or it's just how those policies are looked at within the company. And whether that is technical knowledge or cultural, both kind of combined, where if there's a gap, there's going to be a few issues that might need to be looked at and sat down with. So there's a measurement that we take, and OSHA loves that. We always have our little logbooks and everything. I mean, there's some really fancy ones I've seen that I didn't even know was possible. And then there's things that we can miss. We always have our injuries, reportables, and claims. Accounting loves it. Well, we usually don't love it, but accounting knows it. Safety knows it. OSHA knows it. I mean, there's a lot of dots and check marks that we're able to place, and it's quite simple. And a lot of very simple programs that I've seen coming in, being able to start letting just outside thoughts on are always those three. If they start recording those, it's setting them up for a very simple future, but there's a few things that are missing. Near misses, small hazards, discomfort, and shortcuts. Each one of these, I mean, near misses and small hazards, I think a lot of people can understand, especially if, well, we work. I think it's very simple that we can kind of see that. But when discomfort and shortcuts come in, it's something that whenever I mention it, there is either a little aha moment or it's actually, yeah, we kind of do that, but what else can we do with it? And so, actually, I want to touch on near misses. It's one of the very simple things to get right, but also very, very simple to get wrong. And I'm sure Brandon has some stories, as do I, where there's a culture, going back to the technical versus culture side of things, how safety is looked at, whether it's the mandatory meeting that we have to take every Friday, or there's the mandatory meeting that everyone has to go and sit through a lecture for an hour, and they just have to sit down, do it, fill out the paperwork, sign, and check it off to be able to have compliance. If that culture has changed, near misses become one of the funnest things about the job compared to one of the worst things about it. And I'll get into culture a little bit later. Silence is not an accident, and that's because when silence is encouraged in very obscure ways or very unintended ways, there can be some problems that are being put under the rug instead of being talked about because one, just simple fear. I mean, when you have a job, you're providing for your family, you're going in every day, putting in your 10 hours or even 12 hours for some of these jobs in workplaces that we are doing right now. If you feel like if you have to go and bring a problem to your management and there might be repercussions for it, you might have had an incident at another previous company where you reported something and there was just some information that you might have left out because you didn't want your job to be in jeopardy. Now, OSHA, as well as quite a few laws, protect you as the employee, but also as the employer. Employers are quite benefited from employees bringing things early and often to management. It's not something where the more you encourage people to like, oh, it's okay, but instead of, no, that's not okay, what else? Please talk to me, let's write this down, let's get this recorded so we can then make changes. And the funnest part about this is literally that it can be fun. I'm going to talk about culture a lot through many points of this because culture is one of those fun little things that everyone loves to say they have a great culture, but very few can show that they do it very well. It's never a knock on the effort of trying, but a slight misaim on being able to do it correctly and being able to have the full buy-in from employees. From the bottom to the top, whether it's the CEO or it's the brand new 18-year-old that just got hired out of high school to be able to move boxes. It starts on both ends and kind of meets in the middle to be able to help it function. And so when that new hire is onboarded, they're going through the trainings, they're watching a bunch of videos, and they're just getting bombarded with information. An example of one of the best things I've seen and saw it firsthand was after all of that bombardment of information, when you see the glossy eyes, they start dozing off, they have to go get a Red Bull or something like that. I saw the management take that employee, and a group of them, a couple of times, bring them over to a different room, and then, well, not just quiz them in a very, very simple way, but ask them how they would want to make it better. Now, Lean, Kaizen, all these things, we know a lot about that, but just a simple question of, hey, remember that safety video of the employee not walking in the designated areas and you showed that he got hit? What'd you guys think about that? It's a very open conversation because that exact example was what happened at that company. When they shared that with the employees, it didn't make it just another training video, it made it real. safety is very, very real. And unfortunately, in some of our line of work, being able to go through these companies and be able to help you guys, we see the best, we also can't see the worst things that are happening in life. And it's wonderful to know that we can make changes, be able to prevent things, but also be able to react to things in a positive way and in a healthy way, to be able to make change permanent, but also not, well, wanting to tear your hair out, because yeah, I've been there. And so they turn that fear of an accident of, hey, you better do this or else you're gonna get injured, to, hey, we presented this to you because we had this incident happen at this company. Not exactly like that, that was a bunch of actors, but it made it real, where the fear that they would have had of bringing something to management was no longer there. They were able to feel comfortable knowing that, okay, let me also back up. They also showed the process that they would have taken to be able to prevent that, that full claim and everything that happened within that incident. If they took the steps beforehand to be able to mark the pathways, be able to have a register light, to be able to mark a major crossing, and all these little things, if they did that before, it would have prevented the accident. They went through this entire step with the employees, took about 15 minutes, and you saw the change of the employees of, it's not just another video, it's my life. I could have been that one that got majorly injured, and it made it real. And so the fear was immediately dispelled from them, because they saw the impact it can make on themselves, but also the new guy right next to them. One of the other very favorite things of safety is we love awards. I wanted to throw in a video of a really favorite show of mine, of who's had a safety cupcake party. Anyone? No, just me.
Pizza party?
Pizza party, ice cream party. We had cupcake parties. I don't know why cupcakes. Well, it was nothing but cake, so shout out to them apparently. But exactly. And so incentives are wonderful unless they're promoting fear. So I didn't want to have copyright strikes if I ever post this as a webinar and stuff like that. So I did put in the video, but to give a synopsis, as I like stories, company, they're having a safety, there were 364 days of safety, no incidents, no recordables, no injuries, and they get an ice cream party at that 365 mark, that there's no injuries, nothing, everything's good. What do you think happened? Day 364, slipped down the stairs, twisted his ankle, tried to walk it off like, hey, no, I'm fine, I'm okay, we're all good. He's a big tough guy, he's in his 60s, he's been doing this for a very long time, he's okay. He doesn't need to go to the doctor, he doesn't need it checked out, he doesn't need that. And so, thankfully, the boss comes in and sees him limping just a little bit. He's like, hey, what happened? He's like, oh, I just slipped on the stair real quick. The stair outside? Oh yeah, it's all good, we're all good. It's like, no. Did you get that looked at? Well, no, I don't need to, I'm fine. No, hold on, go to the doctor, we're gonna write. Send him to the doctor, and what do you know? He turned around and all the employees are getting ready for their ice cream party, and what do? They take it all, throw it in the trash.
Yeah. Really?
Oh, yeah. And so that was a great boss moment. Thank goodness it was a movie.
Oh.
I would have lost it. Yes, this is all fictional. This is a fictional scenario. But in many ways, we've all been there. We've all seen things like this where if that incentive is so amazing, whereas whether it's $100 bonus check per month, whether it's $1,000 bonus check for the year, whether it's a pizza party of your favorite local pizza time, wherever it is that maybe holding this all back? I mean, he was a big tough guy. He didn't want to go just because he didn't want to go. But what if there was another employee where if they're the brand new employee, just got hired 2 weeks ago, they go slice their finger and now they're not going to get a pizza party because of the new guy. Does that employee want that label? No. Does everyone else want the pizza party? Yes. Can we see the dynamic that might be happening? And so incentives that tie to that zero incidents, no recordables, injury-free environment, all of these kind of headlines. Zero is not the goal, it's only there's only been 2 times in my life that I've seen 0 incidents for 365 days, only twice. A company of 6 employees and a company of 12 employees. Numbers are very small. And so if it's promoting the wrong objective in the end, you can see where that can go bad. And we miss out on a pizza party and a chicken party. And so going back to near misses, as I'm going to talk about that a lot as well, if we're looking at our objectives and goals, what is it promoting? Is it promoting people being able to talk about these things freely? Or is it promoting them to, hey, maybe don't talk about that, or just go get that taken care of afterward. You don't need to tell us like, oh, it's just a little thing. You don't, yeah, we're fine. Like, oh, you'll walk it off. We're okay. If it keeps having that conversation and management sees it, employees see it, what's it going to do? And when employees see it, they're going to have the thought of that nothing has changed last time, so why would I do that now? That is a very, very common thing where I walk in, I see someone having an issue with, I do footwear, so I always look at people's shoes. Sorry, I've already seen everyone's shoes in this entire room. Can't at home, but maybe one day we'll have that technology. And so if I go and I see 2 people taping up their shoes to be able to make them work for the next 2 months before they get a new voucher, what does that say to the next guy next to them? That he just got hired on, he just got a new pair of boots, and he's starting to work. But he sees his guy right next to him in the next station having to tape his boots up every single day to make them work for the next 2 months before he gets a new voucher. If nothing changed, then why would I try? Reporting incidents, injuries, how minor or major, all these things, it comes to the management team to be able to act on it, but also communicate it. It's so easy to be able to put up a whiteboard and be able to, 1, raise, 2, 9, okay, and just keep on going every month, every week, every day, update the board, but that number means nothing unless you talk about it. And in safety meetings and safety councils and team lead meetings, I mean, there's a lot of ways it can be broken down depending on size. How is it able to get back to the new employee, to the new person on the block, to be able to help them understand how we're going to be able to go forward and be able to make things better? It's not just about the numbers, it's about the people that you're around. And safety is a people thing, it's not a numbers thing. It's very simple for accounting, safety, councils, OSHA, I mean, outside to just look at the data, the numbers like, all right, we need to decrease this by 10%, we need to increase this by about 40% to get to where we need. All right, ready, go, woo! And then everyone breaks and, I don't know, go play football. But when the actions of the few are able to kind of not intimidate, to influence everyone else. One company in particular, a couple of years ago, I talked to them, and it was a very, very new company. They had only been in business for about 3 years at that time. And they had their safety award each month was for the person that recorded the biggest possible change. It wasn't what did change, it was what was possible. So, okay, let's just go to the next one. So Heinrich's triangle theory. This is very obscure, it's from like the 1930s and has changed a few times over the years. But as the funnel gets smaller and smaller, it's leading to less and less incidents. And so the more hazards you have in your workplace, whether it's chemicals, if it's slip and falls, if it's equipment, if it's material, all of these things, you're gonna have a lot of hazards. And so when we have this big open section, we're able to see what we need to do. And if we take precautions, we're able to decrease the amount of near misses that are gonna happen in the next funnel down. But if an incident does happen, it's going, we hope that's going to be a near miss, where then we can then act on it very quickly to then be able to make that change. The farther down you go, the less and less likelihood it's going to happen, but the bigger impact is going to happen. And so if we're able to make countermeasures, we're able to make changes to be able to help our hazards be less costly and be able to do all these things to be able to prevent, it will help our fatalities and serious injuries be very, very negligible, if not zero. That does not mean that's getting rid of the near misses and minor injuries, but it does mean that they are decreasing instead of increasing. And that's because we're looking at the hazards as a whole. And when we're looking at the new guy and he sees something from the outside, he's like, hey, my previous company would do this whenever I was handling this type of project. Well, thank you, sir. That just helped our hazards become better. And that biggest gap for that month when the employers were rewarded, it made, oh, how many, it was, yeah, it's about 200 employees. And out of those 200, 190 were involved with that one action. And so that had the biggest capacity to be able to make a difference. All because of just one little slip. Actually, no, they digitized it just because of one little email that they sent and a process that they had to be able to go through every single one as a management team. Yeah, 109 people were able to be affected by that one little thing. And that's where if you have zero near miss reports, please check again, because that in my 6 years of doing this, I've only had 2, 3-ish places that per quarter, whenever I would go visit them, just say hi, check in, see how things are going. Only about 3-ish, 4-ish a year would have zero near misses per quarter. But out of the entire year, there was 0. There was always at least 1 for an entire year that they would have, no matter the size of the company. Whether it was like an employee base of like 6 people, no, 5 people even, or I mean 500, 600, 1,000, it doesn't happen. And being able to break that down into more manageable kind of pieces. I mean, how do you eat an elephant? One piece at a time, or just get a big guy to eat it like me. And so when we break things down bit by bit and we go through the triangle theory or funnel theory, like I said, it's changed like 50 times. I tried to get one common source, couldn't find it. And I've used this quite a bit. And because it illustrates the ability to be able to see something so massive like your company and your team leads, your employees, all these things, and be able to break it down bit by bit to be able to make it easier to manage. And a couple little thoughts of, to give some, not hope, but some policies that might be able to be enacted or just be able to be thought about is when team leads are in charge of their employees to be able to do their job, they're also in charge of their safety, but the employees also in charge of their safety. Unfortunately, we have numbers, we have quotas, we have all these things that are preoccupied in our mind where, yes, we should be cognizant of being able to say like, hey, I don't see you wearing your shoes or your slips, or where's your hard hat? Or hey, you need to make sure you wear your gloves with that process right there. Just as a reminder, are you able to stop and go do that right now? I can finish this up. And that actually really happened 2 weeks ago. I saw someone literally stop, say that, and they put their gloves on, finished the project, while the other one went back to their locker to be able to get the gloves from lunch. Those little interjections are not bad. They're not degrading. They're not demeaning anyone. And that's because of the culture. The culture was able to say, hey, when this lead comes over and tells you something about either the job you're doing, the safety you're not are or not doing, it's not to be able to degrade you or be able to make you feel bad. It's to be able to help everyone get better. It's everyone to make sure we get home safely each and every day with all 10 fingers and all 10 toes if you're born with them. And so I said that joke once, and dude literally held up his hand, and he, yeah, you can see where I'm going with that. He got me really good. That was really good. Don't like that guy. So when each lead is reporting their numbers or within whatever system you're using, whether it's individual, whether it's company-wide, all these different things, if you're seeing a constant just 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, what's the easiest thing to be able to do? 0, send it. It's 4:55 on Friday. Okay, cool, 0, done. Let's clock out 5 minutes early. What is the easiest thing to do? Not have friction. And so if it's merely a flesh wound, 0 injuries does not equal 0 risk, because there still could be injuries that are not being reported. There could still be reporting that is not being done, which is giving us false data. false data is always one of my favorite things because it's just in the culture of reporting, they can change it. Instead of that fear, instead of the fear of not being heard or not being able to make a change, it's changes that reassuring constantly over time. Sometimes a little bit too much, where they're sick of hearing it, they'll finally start getting it. That something's gonna be able to come from their actions because we do care about them, but we also have a lot of things on our plate. And unfortunately, things go by the wayside and we want them to help us be better. And so when we have zero reporting, slow down, take a quick step back. And one company I did this where I just went, hey, let's go look at the cameras real quick. Let's just 5 minutes, just stare at the cameras. It was right in the middle of their peak season. So, I mean, they hired a bunch of temps to be able to do some of the grunt work. I mean, it was full-blown 10-hour days, 4 days a week with 2 or 3 different shifts to be able to swap back and forth. And we're like, let's just go look at the cameras. Let's just sit, watch for 5 minutes and see what we see. Within those 5 minutes is about within, what was it? It was 4 departments, so 4 different areas that we were able to see. It was about 52-ish things. We're like, well, that's not right. Well, that's not right. Well, why did they do that? It was constant writing on their notebooks for that. One was smart and had a laptop to be able to type it out. But it was about 52, if my memory serves, little things that were not being followed, like picking out a tool without a glove or with a non-gloved hand. And then one had actually cut their fingers off their glove to be able to do intricate work, but we're still trying to, well, was still pulling out the die cast with, well, an ungloved finger. No, wrote down 52 things within 5 minutes. That is just constant. Okay, I should have also said there's about 6 of us, 7 of us looking at the cameras. And so a lot of eyes on that then brought us back to, okay, well, why did they report 0? This was the report you guys gave me. Why is it 0 when we just took 5 minutes and found that many things? Whenever we do safety walkthroughs, I always know the employees that were told that someone was coming through because 1, everyone combed their hair that day, and 2, it's a pretty nice facility. It's always just a little cleaner, it's just a little better until you move one of the machines and then you're like, oh, okay, there's all your dirt. Or the mats. I always love moving mats just a little bit because I can always tell if they actually swept underneath it. That's always my favorite. But what is being hidden just because of the previous things, whether it's incentives that they're trying to get, whether it's the fear of just, I don't want to be that guy that brings up issues because I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, the employee's job is protected by law, but people, unfortunately, me, myself included, are scared to be able to bring up issues if that culture of management is like, I know we're not going to really do anything, or no, it's okay, just do this instead, and try to make it better, or try and make it look better instead of be better. Simon Sinek, absolutely love him. Read all of his books, even his newest one, maybe a little bit too quickly, but the goal is learning, not looking perfect. And so if we have perfect numbers, if year over year, I'm getting numbers presented to me that are just absolutely amazing, like it's within the top 1% of all the companies in the US of like, man, we are just killing it. That is too perfect, where it's like, well, let's go back to the drawing board and just see what we see when people don't think we're watching. And when people don't think we're watching, we're able to look at the inputs instead of the outcomes that they're presenting to us. Inputs are a fun thing because it's never something that immediately rings the bell. It's always the injuries, recordables, and claims. Those are the outputs that we have to present, and so that's what we always focus on. But when we look at the inputs, the near misses, the injuries, the little Band-Aid that we gave out because someone got a cardboard cut from breaking down boxes, which one company had within a quarter, went through about 72 boxes of Band-Aids. It was about 400, 500 employees. 72 boxes within a quarter. And these are the industrial boxes, not the little Walmart ones. No one caught that on except the guy that was buying the boxes of Band-Aids. He's like, why am I ordering this every single week? He would order about 2 or so per week or something like that. He started noticing, and then he just started asking. He was like, hey, why are you guys using all these Band-Aids? Like, are you guys using them to prevent things like If you guys are doing a task like my repair guys and stuff, they'll have little covers and stuff like that to be able to pull on things and not get cut. But he was finding out like, no, we're getting cut by these boxes every time we break them down because it has a sharp edge and we don't have gloves. Okay, well, a glove is X amount of dollars. These Band-Aids are X amount of dollars. And also, we want you to go home safely and not have to tiptoe around your lifestyle. He just went on a little listening tour and asking questions that are non-invasive. They were, hey, why are you using a Band-Aid? It was, hey, what's going on? What you guys doing? Oh yeah, I see you're wearing a Band-Aid. Do you use that for a specific reason or kind of what happened? Oh, that really, okay. Well, does it happen often? Well, yeah, I usually have to get a Band-Aid every couple weeks or so at minimum, but like this week, I already went through 2 of them just because, yeah, got a little paper cut or cardboard cut just from breaking this box down. Okay, do you guys have gloves or like, do you guys go to the dispensary to get those or anything? No, we've never really been told that to get those. So you just weren't listening to her. And I like having my own self conversations because I'm a great talker, but you weren't listening to her. And because of that, those 400 employees in total were then given access to everything in the dispensary instead of only by their job title. Little change, but big impact. And those 72 boxes then went down to, like I said, it was around 15 or so per year. And of those 15, there's continually getting those down just because they're, instead of waiting for employees to ask for things, they're giving them as a package whenever they get hired. Near miss reporting is an input and not a failure. It's very, very easy. And I had to change this mindset a very long time ago that if it's so key for me to be able to know what is happening within my area, within my section of employees I'm responsible for, if I know like they reached to be able to grab a die and they just barely like hit their foot on the side of the machine. And then after a while, I started noticing them limping because they keep hitting their bloody knee on the side of the machine. And then after a while, they started really hobbling and not really being able to do their job as fast. That is a near miss that is so minor that it's very easy to miss. And so taking the time to be able to educate on what near miss can be is quite important, and it'll be this next slide after this. But when from top to bottom, everyone is a learner instead of a giver and just telling people what to do, it opens up the door for people to know that they're going to be able to make an impact, where they know that the door is open to be able to bring things to management and not be shut down where now we're okay. And teaching others within the culture and within these parameters, it's making sure that those core concepts of you are responsible for you, but let us help you more. That dynamic and very cohesive relationship matters. I mean, we've all had good bosses and bad bosses, but if we can trust that even a bad boss wants us to go home safely, it matters. And personalities conflict. I mean, in companies where 200, 400, 800, and even 10 employees, where relationships and work relationships and interpersonal communication might be hard for some people, it's quite easy to be able to build together a culture of safety that is together, that isn't against each other, that isn't trying to hurt anyone, but be able to make sure they get home safely. And because we look at those inputs and not the outputs alone, we actually see the fixes. We see the results of it, and it's quite interesting. And those small risks that are just kind of being hidden just underneath the rug, just pushed over to the side. Fatigue and discomfort is one that I just alluded to. The guy brushing up against something every single day to be able to change a part because one was too tall and another one was too short. The machine itself had there's about a 1.5 foot gap between the parts that he needed to change. And because of that, he would rub against it every single day. He developed a rash first and then I think it was technically a minor contusion of just bruising on his friend's body because he kept hitting the big metal machine. I mean, metal's hard, body's soft, not a good thing. And so that discomfort that he was feeling every single day led to more fatigue. If we're standing for 10 hours on our feet, having our about 2 breaks, doing our stretching exercises. We're encouraging staff to go like, hey, on your lunch break, just take a quick little walk. It helps a ton. If we make it easy for them to be able to be in their best headspace and physical space where they're not sore at the end of the day as much as they should be, because let's face it, we do hard jobs. We move heavy things and make them, well, sometimes smaller and sometimes bigger. It's not easy work, but we can try to make it easier through other ways, but we can also try to make it personal to each one in very, very simple ways, where after a while, that gentleman, he was like, hey, can I just get like a foot high stool that can be bolted in so it doesn't move? I mean, they just made a little stool. The machine mechanic, literally, it was like 20 minutes, just using scrap wood that they have from pallets, made it, pull it all together, made sure it was stable. Good, done. Marked it, did his high-vis tape. I mean, all the little things needed. 20 minutes later, what do you know? He's no longer pushing against his chest. He's now able to move and be able to contour his body correctly so that he doesn't get hurt. Very, very simple things, but it's very easily overlooked because if we're looking at injuries, cuts, scrapes, the big, well, I call it the red items, we always forget about the blue items. So bruising, plantar fasciitis is one that is quite fun because no one can see it, you can only feel it. If you never felt it, it sucks. And so, yeah, I get the head shakes. It is, but how do you describe that? Can't. How can you tell someone like, hey, be on the lookout for this because it's possible? You can't. It's something that is discomfort, and sometimes discomfort is just the norm that someone is okay with living in their life. And because assumptions might be made about, well, this is just how I kind of am every day. Like my feet always hurt, my back always hurts. Whether every job I've ever done in my life, my back always hurts. Okay, let's slow down. Does it have to? What ergonomics are we doing? Are we reaching? Are we bending? Are we doing things that we can maybe do better to be able to make sure that it's not assumed that it is just the way it is? When management takes that little precursor of just asking that question, when a lead or even your coworker just takes that little effort of, of course, like, hey, are you okay? Like, notice that your back's kind of like you keep twisting. Like, how are you feeling? Back hurting? Yeah, is that whenever you do this, just asking a couple of very simple questions, it makes a difference. I love this little thing because it's also a bit part of a really, really big, long one of a thought process. But if it's assumed that everyone can just be safe, like, yeah, everyone just be safe. Like, don't hurt yourself. That's pretty simple. Like, yeah. Common sense is a safety plan. Being explicit, being truthful, and being honest and upfront and very vocal about it is the assumption that we should make, that we need to do that, not assume that everyone else knows. Because unfortunately, if they came from a previous company that may have not had the same culture that we have here today, where we care about everyone, we make sure everyone gets home safely with all the 10 fingers and 10 toes they're born with, and that everything happens within our confines of our walls that we can control, they may still be under the assumption that, I don't know, I just need to clock in, get my job done, clock out, whatever is necessary. That is a very, very, very common thought that employees have because work is a necessity for them to live. And sometimes, a lot of times, there's too many things going on in their life that they can't take that extra second to be able to care about themselves. Me, myself included. And lastly, mediocrities, may have known his other brother, but yeah, good enough. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it looks good 6 feet away. There we go. Yeah, 20-foot paint job. When management has this mentality, one, it's very, very funny, but then two, it's immediately scary afterwards. Because when I notice something or just kind of put on my notes and then bring it up into our organized meeting, we're like, no, that's just something they kind of deal with. It's just, yeah, like we give them mats, like that's pretty much all we can do. Like that's good enough. Are we sure? Like, are you 100% sure that's your life and your job on it? Because it's their life. Yeah, got real again. Yeah. Those decisions that we make of brushing things off or putting them under the rug or not being able to do as much as we can with them, it matters. And take a step back, put yourself in their shoes and see how we can make it better. Going back to that company that really personified their incident visually with their new employees and show them why their safety culture matters, it made the biggest difference. And they have won a lot of awards with it. And so my only question is, what are we missing? What are you missing right now? When you look at the near miss reporting, when you look at your numbers, when you look at the day-to-day that you go around and see, and you might see the people scurry behind their machine whenever you walk by, what are we missing? What are those little things that we can talk about right now and be able to have on our minds to be able to make tomorrow better, but be able to enact today? Yeah, I appreciate being able to talk with all of you. And this is my contact, also on LinkedIn. Yeah, or be able to reach out to Utah Safety Council. I'll also be able to get you in contact with me. Yeah, I'll say if we have questions, we have thoughts. I can go on for another hour if we need. Yes, Brandon.
So you mentioned not incentivizing keeping quiet. We don't want to incentivize silence. How do we incentivize reporting?
Incentivizing reporting would then come from the inputs, not outputs. So if you're incentivizing that 0 injuries, look at what causes those injuries. And one of the things they can report is near misses. They can report an unsafe condition. They can report an unsafe work area or action. And going back to the story of the employee that made one suggestion and helped out 190 people, he reported an unsafe action of opening boxes without gloves on. That's an unsafe action. He was rewarded because he reported that. And so, and I always caveat that with, it shouldn't be a tier list. So if they get 25 reports per week per department, and then if they get 50 per week, it's a better reward. That is in the same aspect of, if you over-report nonsense, it doesn't really help anyone. And so qualifications I have for a near miss report is, has to be credible, has to be factual, and has to be able to help. And when those little things, I mean, yeah, you see an unsafe action, you would go to a portal, be able to turn that in, or write it down, give it to your manager, and they're able to turn it in and be able to make sure it's gone up the chain. That's something that can be rewarded.
I'm not in any way related to safety, right? I don't know what goes on in, the details in reporting. Is it possible for them to report anonymously so that they're not targeted or labeled as a snitch, right? I don't know.
There is programs where it can anonymously do near misses, but I also believe, I've learned recently that maybe incentivizing safe actions also kind of helps the employee kind of learn how to work in a safe way for their own well-being, but they're being incentivized for their specific personal safe action. I feel like that also promotes.
Yeah, 100%. So safe actions is one of the areas that I like, because every single job I've ever been in, whether it's a desk job or moving boxes, it has to be active. And I say it has to be active because if I'm moving around and I don't do it correctly, I'm in pain. If I'm staying down all day and I don't move, I'm in pain.
Yeah.
And so one of the really fun safe actions is being able to promote stretching before work. And so as a team lead, I had my team, we took the Kaizen system of being able to, each person, we had about 10 people on the team, each person brought in their favorite exercise that they wanted to do for about 5 minutes before work and also after lunch. We had an hour lunch, and so our body would really fatigue after that. And so we needed to bring it back up after that. And that was a safe action that we started doing it just because we wanted to. And then our next department over, they started doing it. Then the next department over started doing it. And it's all because I hate being sitting down and not moving, because then all my arthritis and everything, I have 29 and a half arthritis everywhere. It starts acting up. And all my employees, I mean, there was ones younger than me and older than me. Bodies degrade. Unfortunately, it's a, and so the safe actions can be many, many things. And that was something that wasn't pertaining to the job specifically, but something that helped the job become better. Perfect. I appreciate it. And like I said, any questions? Let me know.
Right.
That's great. Thanks, Will. Lots of good information. I'd like to thank Will again for coming out. Thank all of you for joining us. Next month, February, Heart Health Awareness. We'll have somebody speaking to that. So tune in February 3rd. Thank you very much.
Right.